and welcome to Global Business. I am Ifeoma. Global Business is celebrating 10 years on Nigerian television. I want to thank you for staying by us, staying with us, and staying for us. We hope you will stay with us in the next 10 years. Today on the program, we'll be looking at how someone wants to bring the Davos World Economic Forum to Nigeria to have Minna Business Roundtable. Then how do you build skills for millions of unemployable Nigerians? But looking at all these on the program today, welcome. Let's set the ball rolling as we bring you Chudi Chukwuani, who's been off the economic radar for a while and is back, but he's back with something new he calls the Minna Business Roundtable. Chudi Chukwuani, welcome to Global Business.
Thank you very much.
Now tell me, let's look at the Nigerian economy for instance. Let's start with that and see what's your assessment of the Nigerian economy.
I think the Nigerian economy, starting from 2015 to the present day, went through what we call a very turbulent period. I believe at a point we were in recession for quite some time, and I believe the government now says we are slowly climbing out of the recession. So if you should do a random sample of the man on the street, they still tell you that the economy has not fully picked up.
Okay, now you've been off the radar for a while. I know one of the reasons has been health challenges,
yes.
But you're back on your feet.
Yes.
So what are you up to now?
Okay, what we are trying to do now, and I've been out for a very long time, just like the president was, when he was sick. I experienced it, so I can appreciate what the president must have gone through. I went through an open heart surgery.
Okay.
And I was in the hospital for more than a year. So I know what it means for somebody to be really ill. And, we thank God for his blessings that we're able to pull through. So I know what the president must have gone through when he was ill. So I'm back now. And from what I'm seeing, I said, okay, there's a need to put in the public space a better narrative for our nation. The narrative of our nation should not be insecurity, disturbances, all manners of talk geared towards disintegration. The better narrative for our nation should be opportunities, bringing in opportunities and giving hope to our young people. Our young people are very, very talented. And what I have found that is missing in the entire mix is that there need to be a way where a young person that has a very good idea will have an easy access to capital. And that is what we have tried to put together. So working, we decided that what better way to do this, that the best way is to follow suit from what happens on the international arena. And if you should watch, somebody like Alibaba was a small internet company, over the years that was trying to bring customers to producers, in China. That was Alibaba. I remember when I used to go to Alibaba, you used to have Alibaba and you used to have Made in China. Made in China was controlled by the government. Okay, it's also an internet marketplace. Alibaba now, by putting together a product that they were able to bring to the market on the international stage, Alibaba, within a very short period of time, became a global entity to be reckoned with. They were able to list on the New York Stock Exchange. They were able to list on the other exchanges around the world, and they were able to raise significant amount of capital that enabled them to undergo what we call rapid expansion, and fight for a significant portion of market share. The same thing happened on companies like Amazon. Amazon was a very small company. Today, Amazon is now a Fortune 500 company in the United States.
So are you thinking of starting something that is very small that hopes to expand like that?
Yes, that is what we want to do. That is why we came up with the idea of the Minna Business Roundtable. The Minna Business Roundtable is modeled against what you have in Davos. Okay, and we want to do our own in Nigeria. And what we are planning to do in the Minna Business Roundtable is to reach out and bring to Nigeria portfolio investors who are out there in the world looking for investment opportunities around the globe. We will bring these portfolio investors and we will get the 36 states governments of the Federation to bring up projects that have prospects within their states that we can scrutinize and offer them on the floor of the trading exchanges, the commodities exchange in Nigeria and the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And then in that way, you will be able to create a new vista of opportunities. Because those are what the people are looking to do.
How different is this Minna Business Roundtable that you are proposing to the Nigerian Economic Summit that has been holding for over 20 years, to other investment summits that, the economic summits that are still holding?
Ours is totally different. It's just like saying how different is the Bloomberg, financial television market platform, to CNBC and to CNN. If you recall, and to BBC, if you recall, BBC was one of the oldest. CNN started, and people like CNBC came on board, and Bloomberg came on board. Remember, Bloomberg came on board, and Bloomberg is now blowing everybody away because Bloomberg only focuses on markets and portfolio managers.
And so that's your focus?
That is our focus.
Okay.
Our focus is on markets and on portfolio managers and business movers and shakers, people that are willing to take risks, investors, that are seeking opportunities around the world, investors that are expecting international best practice in whatever it is that they are investing in. So we want to create an environment where our people will share in that mix and know that these are what investors are looking at. And the average investor is sitting about miles away. All he does is to punch numbers on a computer. He doesn't have to come. All he knows is that because you have a good regulatory framework, which means we are partnering with Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and the Chartered Institute of Nigerian Stockbrokers. Because you have, those good regulatory framework, they believe that the regulatory framework will ensure that international best practice is observed in any entity that is listed and traded on the floor of an exchange. So that is where we are totally different. We are not into economic theories.
Okay.
Economic Summit is under economic theories. We are not doing any economic theories. We want to do practical things that can create massive employment. And we have so many projects, conversations with several states that we are beginning to hear, from them. And it is not a state-run entity. This is a publicly traded entity. It's just that the opportunity for that public traded entity to arise exists in state A, state B, or state Z.
Now, that's why I was going to go into. Why did you... Normally, when people hold such summits, they'll do it probably in the economic nerve center of the country, Lagos, or probably the capital, which is the political headquarters of Nigeria. Why have you chosen Minna?
Yes, the reason why we chose Minna is very simple. We chose Minna because if you look at Davos, Davos is not in any known political capital in the world. Minna has a very unique attributes to itself. It is the center over the years of power, political power concentration. No political power that goes into Nigeria does not flow through Minna. And wherever you have political power, economic power must also follow suit because they usually go hand in hand. So why don't you bring a convergence of that political power and economic power, to be able to converge and be able to harness from the great experiences that we have noticed that people, have, and you anchor your program on somebody that commands tremendous respect among his peers, tremendous respect among all the power centers of the nation, and tremendous respect among captains of industry in Nigeria. So that is why we selected Minna.
Okay. Now, who are the kind of investors we are expecting? Are we expecting speakers in this kind of business roundtable, or to just be a network between, will I put it, the investors and Nigeria, the investees, which probably will be Nigerians?
No, we are going to be bringing international speakers. We're going to be bringing people like former presidents of the United States, former presidents of Britain, former president of France, and former presidents of other leading economies.
Prime ministers, former prime ministers
of Britain, and former presidents of France, and so on.
Okay, maybe we'll just have a peep of who specifically is coming.
I don't know if we can do it now, because what we are trying to do is to try to get narrowed down on our dates and be able to harmonize with the people, our targets.
It's happening this year, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to happen this year. It's going to happen in the second quarter of this year. Okay. Probably our target is to make it to happen sometime in June. Okay? And then people will begin to see something concrete happening as a result of it, maybe towards the fall time, which is a September time, and so on and so forth. So we are looking for international former leaders of economies that can tell you, honestly, and in a straightforward way, these are the type of things you need to do in order to attract. We're also going to bring successful people in the market. We are trying to reach out to people like Jack May. He might come and tell you, this is what I did in Alibaba. This is how I started. This is what made me to break through. We are trying to reach out to people like the chief executive of Amazon, Bezos. He will tell you, this is how I started Amazon. It was just an idea. But look at it today.
Okay. And you say it's not another talk shop, isn't it?
No, it's not another talk shop. These are unpractical things, because we are bringing the media networks such as yours, that actually know exactly what needs to be done in order to get things done and in order to get things moving.
Thank you very much. Chudi Chukwuani, well, we could call him beyond the nation's prosperity expert. We now say probably one of the conveners of the Minna Business Roundtable. Thank you very much for coming on Global Business.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ifeoma is one lady who is very concerned that millions of Nigerians are unemployable. Now, I didn't say unemployed, I mean unemployable. What does it mean to be unemployable? It means that you do not have the required skills or capacity for the job. So how do you build those skills? But for you as an employer, how do you identify the right skills for the job? That is what we'll be looking at with Ifeoma, who is a human resource expert. We'll be talking with her next on Talking Point. Who you have in your business or who you have in your company determines the profitability of that company. Ifeoma has been an HR expert for close to a decade. Well, she's someone who went to school to study accounts, but has a passion for human resources. Ifeoma, welcome to Global Business. Now, tell us about unemployability in Nigeria. Why is it so high?
Okay, first of all, there are a few causes of unemployability in Nigeria, to be specific. First of all is we don't have the number of jobs that are able to even employ these job seekers.
Okay.
Yes, individuals are no more entrepreneurial. They're not business oriented as we have it in the Western world. Another problem is the fact that the individuals do not want to improve themselves because for the market is saturated now with the number of job seekers, because every month there's a large number of people who graduate all the time. You can see it with the NYSC program, whereby they now have a batch A, batch B, and even a batch C.
Yeah.
So that thing used to happen. So we have close to 100 universities. So with those figures, it should instill fear of some sort in the job seekers. So how do you leverage on that? I think one of the reasons, one of the things that a job seeker should do basically is try as much as possible to develop yourselves personally. Yes, by attending trainings, acquiring additional skills as it relates to what they studied. Then the problem that we also have is that the curriculum of universities is actually outdated. Yes, this should be reviewed on a regular basis, because you find out that a computer engineering graduate doesn't know basic things about a computer system. So it's a challenge to any HR.
I also know that even in computer engineering has been further broken down.
Yes.
There are different types of computer engineering courses now that you could go for, and when we just have it as computer engineering in Nigeria.
Exactly. Even the emergence of social media. We have social media experts who
being studied in school.
Exactly, and people now sit in their houses to make money. Unlike before, where we have people who just pick up their bags and they leave for work. Now you can sit in the comfort of your own homes with just the internet and a phone, not even a laptop. So there's a global shift and there's a global trend. So every job seeker needs to move with that trend. So the problem we have is the job seekers are now mentally lazy. You find out that, okay, someone has up to 4,000 or more followers, and what she posts is pictures of herself. We can use those followers to market a product or a service, but you find out that that's not being used anymore, or rather that's not the trend now. We just have someone who posts pictures of herself in the morning or in the bathroom showing her reflection, and that's it. But they don't know the power of the tool that they have in their hands. So that's why you be informed. Because in as much as there's so much information available to us now on the internet, we don't have people using that tool.
Now, coming back to, you just talked about the fact that job seekers are lazy and people should go for training. So you are saying if someone is finishing, because we have so many youth corps members who are finishing youth corps and the next thing is looking for jobs. So are you saying they should not look for jobs immediately after youth service?
Oh, they should look for jobs. When the jobs are not forthcoming, what do? You go acquire some skill of some sort which would improve your being employed. Another thing you should also look at is volunteering. In as much as it is difficult to do, it helps you. Because you're not just, because the employer also looks at the time you finished service and the dates with which you came for the interview. If there's a long lapse of being idle, it becomes a challenge for the employer. So the employer finds out that you have gone to do some volunteering work. He begins to understand that in as much as she hasn't been employed or been fortunate to be employed, she's not an idle person, she's not idle mentally, because she has gone out to volunteer in, we can identify good organizations who prefer such services that I want to work for free. But people don't want to hear that. Everybody wants to take. Nobody wants to give back. But if you keep giving, eventually it would pay off. So if job seekers would also understand that they can go out there and work for free, or invest in themselves by acquiring a skill or joining a professional association, or reading, going online to find out more about the field that they are passionate about or they are interested in or they have a particular qualification in. So that's my...
So now let you tell me, you studied accountancy and went into HR. How do you balance what you studied and a passion for a young person who has a passion but studied something different?
Yes, my case is I didn't have the luxury that it's being accorded the job seekers now, because there's so much information. Now, if you go online, because I didn't really know much about human resource. But it was along the line during my course of working in the bank, I worked in the bank for a few years, and I realized that I didn't have passion for it. So then I stumbled into human resource, and I began to enjoy it, and I began to read about it, and I joined their professional bodies, and I found out that it was something I was passionate about, and it has helped over time. So now, if people job seekers should actually, even employees, even those who are employed currently, might not be passionate about the job, because if they are not passionate about the job, they are not motivated by it, and they will not be productive. So as much as possible, find something that excites you, because that is the best thing that can happen to you. Doing something that you are happy doing and getting money out of it. That is the best way to live. So for the job seekers, they can go online. There's so much information available. Meet people, because networking is also very important. You should also have, you can look for a mentor. Find out somebody who you look up to and is way ahead of you in that particular field. Speak to the person. It might not be somebody you see personally. You can go and send emails. We have the social media now. You can even search for the person on LinkedIn. So we have so much social media platforms that people can use to improve themselves. But the problem we have is people don't just want to do such.
You're going to show me on the board basically what the format for this.
Okay, as I told you earlier, one of the causes of unemployability is the substandard level of education in Nigeria, which has led to job seekers not having the appropriate skills. This has also led to lack of personal development, which involves the training or the capacity building, which eventually leads to unemployability. The individual, as much as possible, should identify the skills needed for the particular role he or she is interested in, or career path he or she is interested in. Then the person must ensure that they engage in some form of personal development, that's a form of training or acquiring of skills or joining a professional body, as earlier discussed. If they do not do this, they will be unemployable.
Okay, now let's look at those who are looking for jobs. Now, if you are an employer and you want to employ someone, what should you be looking at here? What beyond the skills? Because I see a lot more people are beyond skills. They are looking for something deeper. You are an HR expert. What should an employer be looking for?
No, an employer is looking for someone who can add value. So if you're a job seeker and you're coming for an interview, you must be willing to tell your employer the value you're meaning to add to the organization. Every organization has its own issues and problems that they're trying to fix. That is why they need you in the first place. So if you can tell them and sell yourself the solution to a particular problem that you think you can solve, then it makes you more employable. That is why this is very important. Because for you to get trained or acquire a form of skill, it gives you a knowledge of the problems that field or that organization may have. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So as much as they don't improve themselves or get informed, which is very important, they will not be able to identify solutions that will be useful to the organization.
Okay, so basically value is the main thing in this whole thing. You've talked about substandard education leads to appropriate skills,
yes,
lack of personal development, and in fact this, you say, is very, very important. So
even for those who are employed, need to be personally
to continually develop themselves.
Yes, it needs to be evolving with the trend, because there's always something new to learn. There's always something new to learn. So as much as possible, keep developing yourself. It makes you more. It makes you more marketable. Marketable,
yes. Which is where I'm coming to now, because for every business owner or company, he employs, and I know for every business there's the cost center, there's the profit center. People tend to go for those who go for the profit center than the cost center, not knowing that you need the cost center to have the profit center, isn't it?
Yes.
So for someone who, many Many young people always prefer cost centers.
Okay, yes.
I mean, from your own experience, I'm sure many young people always prefer cost. How do you develop your skills to be able to be marketable for a profit center?
Okay, yes. I think the mistake we always make is even differentiating it, the cost and the profits. Everybody should be part of the cost and the profits. If you begin to leave an aspect of it to a particular group of staff, it becomes a problem. Everybody should be involved in the profit center of the organization.
Okay, so you mean the human resources, the admin,
yes,
the accountants should be involved in profit.
Yes, because as much as possible, you must promote your business. The social media, you must speak about your organization. It's a form of marketing. Now, the human resource person has to improve herself by recruiting the right people. If you recruit the right people, the staff turnover will be low, which is profitable to the organization. So as much as possible, the HR, the human resource department, who are normally referred to as a cost center, would actually be making the company profitable if they hire the right people. So at the end of the day, everything is interwoven. You don't leave the profitability of a company to a particular department and say, this doesn't concern me. Everybody should be involved. So getting the right people saves cost, increases productivity of the organization, basically.
Thank you very much. You go make your decisions and know if you are employable or how to get the right employable youth for your job. This will wrap it up on Global Business this week. Join us again next week. We have another packed package for you. You don't want to miss us. It's Mondays, 5:30 p.m. Join us. I'm Ifeoma. It's always nice doing business with you. Let's do business every week, and I'm sure you're going to reap your profits. Investments in global business is always profits. Have a great week.